Hey everyone, it's Cynthia, psychic and astrologer. So today we're going to be talking about the full moon on June 21st in Capricorn. Okay, so this full moon is definitely going to bring a time of discipline, obligations, working hard for the money. One of the things that I did notice is that when you have Saturn squaring this full moon, it's definitely going to bring about a time of duties, obligations, tasks, projects. If you are in a place where you're not really looking forward to taking on more work, more time, more effort, then you may be a little agitated or frustrated because you can expect that there's going to be greater obligations, tasks, and duties. Now, this is going to be a time where you're going to feel like there is more put on you, whatever the situation is. Take, for instance, obviously, like I was talking about work, greater tasks, duties, projects, maybe having to work longer hours, maybe to put in more effort to get a project done than when before things just went smoothly. Now, when it comes down to relationships, if there has been a time where you are struggling, having issues in a partnership or relationship, this could bring about a separation, breakup, or divorce. Now, the only way this is going to be happening is if there have been issues already in the past. So this isn't something like out of nowhere, what? There's a breakup, what? There's a separation. How'd this come about? There would have been already issues progressing throughout that time that would have led to a situation of a breakup, divorce, so forth. So this could also bring about a time where it is creating greater issues that need work. And maybe it's a time to work through these issues, especially if you're looking to hold on to a relationship, partnership, companionship. And maybe it requires that you need to have more open communication, work out the issues and the problems. This could bring about a time where you need to put effort. So things just aren't going to take care of themselves on their own. Now, when it comes down to the home, maybe there's issues relating to the home. Maybe you have to relocate in connection to the home, especially if it has to do with having to relocate for a job, having to now bring your work home. Maybe you need to create a home office just to take care of the increase of task, duties, and obligations. So maybe things are growing in that sense, and maybe you just feel like you are doing more just to get work done. Now, I have noticed an increase of where people want to do more remote work, even if, take for instance, you have a home, an office, but maybe they are starting to have flexibility where you can also do work at home. So maybe the obligation is you have to try to kind of balance out things that are going on at the office and then having to do your work at home, especially if you have a family, you have home obligations. Maybe you're feeling like you're being pulled in different directions. And so you're trying to balance all that out. Now, I do want to go very quickly through each sign to explain what you can expect for this full moon. So let's get started. Aries. Now, Aries, the full moon is going to be in your career house. Again, having Saturn in your career house brings about greater obligations and duties. So you can expect to work harder for the money. Maybe you run into an additional project, sources of income that you are taking on now, more work just to get work done. I know that this could actually bring about greater frustrations because maybe you are feeling that you weren't really planning on taking on all this additional work. Maybe there is, for instance, maybe somebody left. So while until they fill in this position, you are now taking in the additional work of that person and their position and the duties that they were doing. So now you're feeling like you're doing two people's jobs just to get by. So it could be something like that going on. Just something to be aware of. Taurus. Now, this is actually going to be a time where there could be the process of having to deal with legal issues. Legal issues could be something like going through divorce, but then legal issues could also be in relation to, for instance, taking care of others. So you're dealing with the legalities behind conservatorships, guardianships, powers of attorney, things that involve where it's a transitional process. Now, on a positive, you could be taking on more classes, courses, going back to school. So maybe it's an adjustment time for you where you are studying, learning. So you're balancing maybe a home life, work life with school and education. So just something to be aware of. Gemini. So there could be financial obligations. This could relate to taxes, credit, loans, child support, alimony, joint assets, joint resources. There could be debts and obligations. Maybe you incur a new debt. Maybe possibly you pay off a debt. Maybe these are obligations in connection to others, whether it's someone personal to you, whether it's someone that you're not close to, but you still have to deal with. Like, for instance, there was a time I had to deal with the estate of my grandma. And that's an eighth house obligation. Yes, it's my grandmother, but I wasn't the one inheriting anything. It was my aunts and uncles that were going through the process of inheritance and so forth. But I was the one handling the estate. So even though, yes, it's someone family related, but I wasn't benefiting from it. So this could actually be maybe a situation like that. Again, there could be financial obligations, whether it's connected to you or connected to others. Now, Cancer. So this is actually going to relate to partnerships and relationships. Maybe it's, like I mentioned before, maybe there is breakups, separations. Maybe you have to deal with working through some issues. It's all about compromise. There's a way to compromise. You can make great progress. If you can't, maybe it's time to move on. So there's obviously going to be some issues. Now, partnership doesn't have to be someone personal. It could also be on a professional level. And this could relate to a colleague, coworker, client, customer, business partner too. Maybe it's time to move on from them and just time to see what else, Maybe you finally have to start doing things more on your own, or maybe in connection to other people or someone else. Leo. So this full moon is actually going to be about taking on, seeing an increase of tasks and duties, projects, working hard for the money, maybe working harder for the money, but to get ahead financially. Maybe you're taking on more, but it's bringing in more money. Maybe you're seeing some bonuses, commissions, sales, but again, you're working for it, working hard for it, This could also relate to your health and well-being. Maybe you are exercising, losing weight, taking on a new health regimen, a new workout project, regimen. Either way, I think it's definitely going to bring about a time of being disciplined and focused. Wherever direction you go can easily bring great results. So just know that. You may feel like you're putting in more effort, but you're going to see great results at the end. Virgo. It's about the love life and relationships. So there might be obligations relating with family, children. Maybe it really could reflect with financially. And this could also bring about a time where you have to kind of make adjustments. So that could be something where you may not be aware what kind of comes at you, and maybe it requires adjustments as you go. Libra. So the home is going to play a big part. The home, maybe it's a time to relocate, renovate, maybe make changes around the home. It could bring about renovations, changes. Maybe someone moves in or moves out of the home. Financial obligations could easily be related to the home. I mean, I don't like saying that maybe you have difficulties paying the rent, paying the mortgage. Maybe it's an increase of financial obligations, repairs, renovations, maybe something you weren't counting on that just adds to the frustration of having to make adjustments. So it might be something that you just have to, like I said, you have to make adjustments to it, and you just kind of take care of it. And it could be difficult, but it could also be beneficial if it's something where it's going to add value to the home. If it's something you weren't counting on, but you make that adjustment, it could be a repair that you never have to worry about for a very long time. Scorpio. Now, this is actually going to be a time where you may easily notice an increase of emails, text messages, and phone calls. There could be obligations relating with vehicles, computers, travels, trips, taking trips, vacations. I would suggest if you can plan early, that could really benefit you a long way. There could be issues relating with family, and maybe this is a time where you need to work through any differences or issues with the family or family member. I would say, if anything, it would be more in a positive way to have any kind of discussions, because this could actually help to build a stronger relationship. Now, Sagittarius. So the full moon on June 21st is actually going to fall in your second house of earned income. Now, this is a time of tasks and duties and obligations. You might have to take on another job just to pay the bills. Maybe you have to take on more work, whether you signed up for it or not. This could relate to maybe jobs shifting around at the current job. Maybe someone leaves, so you're taking on more work in the meantime until that position gets filled. Maybe you are just taking on more work. It could be very positive and bringing on, making more money, but you're also finding yourself having to work for it or working harder for it. So it's just something to be aware of, but it could be a very busy time for you. Capricorn. Now, this full moon is going to fall in your own sign and house. Saturn, that is your ruling planet, will square off with this full moon. So you may feel an increase of weight on you, having to make bigger, serious decisions, more greater decisions that can affect your future, your life, your relationships. So this is actually going to be quite a significant time for you. So the next 2 weeks could feel a bit overwhelmed. But it's all going to be about how you handle the next 2 weeks. Aquarius. Now, this could easily bring about a time where you may feel tired. Maybe you have to focus on your health, your well-being. This could be a time to rest, relax, maybe catch up on sleep. This is actually going to be a time of just you taking care of yourself, because this could really affect you down the road if your body is trying to tell you something, and maybe it's time to get rid of a bad habit, an unhealthy habit, and maybe it's time to take care of those issues. Pisces. Now, this is actually going to be a time where, when it comes down to being social and outgoing, this could relate to friends, family, events. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. There could also be the possibility of not really wanting to be too social in connecting with others. This could just be a time where you are feeling that you are taking on a lot and you're trying to balance out making time for friends and family, and being social, but also focusing on work and other obligations at home. This is actually going to be a very productive and busy time for you, but this could also be a time where you're trying to balance, create a balance of what's going on around the home and making just time for others. So it's going to be also a time to really see for yourself who is of significance and of value for you, that could be helping you for growth, helping you to just bring about great significance that you can learn off from. And at the same time, maybe this is just a time for you to just learn how to balance a schedule, balance your life, balance just connecting with others. All right, this is it. There's definitely going to be a lot going on next month. I'm going to start working on the 2025 yearly horoscopes for all signs. I will have more discussions about that next month. Right now, just be aware with this full moon, there's definitely it's a busy time. It's just going to be kind of a busy time, and you just got to manage through the month, get through the month. July will be a lot easier. And then as things are progressing, just so much that's going to be happening later on this year. We are going to be having a Mars retrograde later on in the year. So it's just to be aware of. And there's so much that's going to be coming up here very soon. And I'll be discussing more about that. Right now, just be aware of the full moon and more to come. Talk to you soon.